Hi again, I'm James Blackman from Enterprise IoT Insights. I'm at the Things Conference. I'm joined by Richard Perry from Lucy Zodion. Richard, nice to have you with us.
Yes, thank you very much. Nice to be here.
And Richard, talk about Lucy Zodion. Give me an introduction, if you like, of the company, what you do, your place in the market.
So we're part of a large group, the Lucy Group, a couple of 100 years old, UK-based, specialising in electrical distribution equipment. And the bit I work for, Lucy, is about the smart lighting controls. We've got a couple of places around the world where we manufacture street lighting and smart lighting control systems in the UK and in Romania more recently. And very happy to be in this industry.
Lovely. And talk about the smart street lighting. This is outdoor kind of municipal lighting type thing. Talk about that market, how it's developed. It seems to me, I've written about it variously, and you know, even a couple of years ago, perhaps more, it was kind of held up as a kind of a gateway kind of IoT use case, if you like, which kind of gave way to a bunch of other stuff potentially off a light pole. Just talk around the market where we are now and how you see it going.
Yeah, sure. So we've been manufacturing sort of control products for street lighting for a long time, like 50 years plus. But more recently, since about 2008 or maybe a little bit earlier, we've been manufacturing and concentrating on solutions for controlled lighting using wireless technology or various wireless technologies. We have some 868 megahertz older tech that we have been deploying for a long time. That's been a very successful thing. And then the last 5 or 6 years, more modern technologies like LoRaWAN, also things like NB-IoT and LTE-M as well, of course. But what we're talking about here is, you know, the deployment of LoRaWAN at scale, isn't it? And that's been hugely successful. And it's gone hand in hand, really, with the move towards LED. So LED street lighting is a huge cost reduction for local authorities, and it's also a very flexible technology, and you can dimming and control of the light in very precise manner means that you can save a lot of carbon and energy for the local authorities, and that's one of the main benefits of putting a control system in for smart lighting.
And do cities kind of understand this now? I mean, there is a perception perhaps that street lighting, you know, got through, if you like, because of the LED, on the back of the LED ROI, the kind of hard ROI from that. Like you've mentioned, there's all this soft ROI which goes with it. Do cities understand that now?
Yeah, I think the message is certainly getting across. I mean, certainly in some of the territories where we're more successful, that nuanced message is understood. The big hitters are energy reduction, you know, and that the payback is tumbling down for that, of course, with the energy situation we're currently in. But also maintenance savings, that's a huge hit as well. So, you know, the ability to see your lighting network and its status. And then some of the more nuanced things around that, you know, keeping the correct stock, making sure that your maintenance crews are optimized in their behaviors. All those sort of small nuances also add to the payback. And what we've seen as a pattern is that the cost of maintaining a modern lighting network is tumbled over recent years, you know, back into the if you compare it to the sodium days when lighting was sodium based. And I think the more modern the approach of the local authority, the more nuanced they are in their understanding of those benefits.
And what about this kind of idea that lighting is a platform, you know, for, you know, a whole range of other IoT applications? Is that happening? Are you seeing that work through the kind of the county councils and the city councils and this kind of stuff? And is there a challenge to kind of knock heads together within city authorities, you know, between departments and whose you know, bottom line is it, and what this kind of stuff? Just talk around that challenge.
So you know, many authorities, I mean, it's changing, and it's changing for the better, I think. But traditionally, local authorities may have been siloed slightly with their approaches. You know, the highways electrical, you know, very focused on looking after that service, and quite rightly. But what we're seeing now is a move, especially with smart city teams being integrated into cities and local authorities, where their remit is to bring those silos together and have a sort of more of an umbrella approach to what's going on. And that's when connectivity, like LoRaWAN and the other ones we're working with, you know, come into play. So there is a movement away from it, but I think the message is certainly getting across that the silos are coming together, and that when that happens, you know that you know there's a good chance of some success.
And There's a couple of good use cases you got, good deployments, and we'll come on to those. But just very quickly on the technology side, you mentioned earlier you're doing a bit of NB-IoT, doing a bit of LTN, this kind of stuff. How do you rationalize all of that? I mean, how do you go about, installing one or the other? Is there and which do you prefer one to the other? Is one working better than the other? I mean, we're at a LoRaWAN event, so you know.
Yeah. Well, the most important thing, of course, is the client and what their needs. And generally, the solution that we provide should be the best result for them. And that's the immediate focus. And then the technology that we deploy is just a subsequent to what that actually means. So if it's an area where there's a strong cellular point and a good cellular provider that we've worked with before, then it might be a cellular technology that we use. If it's a local authority that's interested in owning their private network as a part of their infrastructure, then LoRaWAN might be the solution, because it gives them that flexibility and ownership so that they can leverage that infrastructure for their future needs. And that's the real big difference between the two types of technology we're finding. And what happens in each city is dependent on that city's prerequisites, really. At the end of the day, a lot of them don't care what the technology is, as long as the service that is being delivered is, of excellent standard.
Yeah, which is the kind of message, I think, of these kind of shows increasingly. Just talk around. I mentioned these big deployments, and we ran a piece yesterday about how this is milestones in massive IoT, the kind of road to scale. I mean, lighting deployments tend to be quite big, but these are significant. They're both in the UK. Is it generally UK focused? And talk about those two and any others, really.
Not all UK focused, of course. So we're doing LoRaWAN in a number of different countries, and the sort of scale deployments that we've done more recently would be Aberdeen, where we've got close to 30,000 devices on a LoRaWAN. And a LoRaWAN provided by a third-party network operator. Cornwall, that's going to be 50,000 units, and Bradford is another city in the UK. That's another 50 or so thousand units. Again, brought about with the use of LoRaWAN. And in each of those cities, the common factor really is the scale, the number of devices onto those networks, and the desire to use LoRaWAN for other things as well, and leverage the use of that LoRaWAN for the good of the citizens and the county or the city. And that's the big difference. And we've had some challenges, of course, along the way, getting the LoRaWAN to do as we want. Very strong advocates of standardization across LoRaWAN. Network server standardization is something we would really like to see, so that when we integrate with one network server, we can integrate with another. And the use of multicast is something that we strongly advocate, and we need to use in order to keep our service levels up to the customer. If they want to change the behavior of the devices quickly, we need multicast to be super efficient.
Okay, and just, finally, just the Things Conference, what's your impressions of it? How's it? It feels to me like quite a buzzy affair, and it's a buzzy community. Yeah. What's your, which kind of reflects, I guess, on your decision to go with LoRaWAN and the ecosystem, this kind of stuff. Just talk around that a little bit if you can.
Sure. So apart from being in a very cool place, and cycling here, which is being in Amsterdam is a very nice place to be. The event's been excellent for us, individually, and we've got some really good opportunities to talk about our technology. But the difference this year compared to the last time we were here, which was in January 2020, is that I think it was the start of something in 2020. That's what it felt like to me, that we were developing a technology together. And this year it feels like we're talking about the successes that we've had over the last 2 or 3 years. And that's the difference. And it's a really positive message. And I've got that, had that conversation with a number of other companies, not just in smart lighting, but in smart cities and air quality. And some of the excellent technologies we've seen at this show has been really, really positive.
Richard, thank you. Our time's up.
Okay, thank you.
It's great to chat to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, thanks everybody. I'll be back in a few minutes with Dryad Networks. See you then.